If you've ever felt heavy inside, could it be time to learn the art of letting go to achieve genuine serenity? Hello everyone, and welcome to the Life Lessons channel. Today, we will explore an intriguing truth from Buddhist teachings: why the more we hold on, the less peaceful we become. Life is like a flowing river, constantly changing and unpredictable. Yet, we often cling tightly to what we deem important, leading to pain, worry, and inner turmoil. Are we unknowingly worshipping the very things that weigh our minds down instead of attaining true peace? Today, through the profound wisdom of the Buddha, we will uncover why holding on pulls us away from peace, and more importantly, how to let go. Remember, letting go is not about giving up. It's about finding freedom from what binds and burdens us. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and share this video to spread this important message of happiness to others. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. In today's video we will discuss the following specific content. 1. The nature of holding on. In life, we often cling to what we consider most important: money, love, appearances, or even outdated thoughts. However, the Buddha taught us that everything in life is impermanent and subject to change. When we cling, we resist this natural law, causing suffering. 2. The psychology of clinging. When we cling, our minds become restless. We fear loss, failure, or rejection. These thoughts act like flames burning our inner peace. The Buddha taught: the root of suffering is desire and attachment. 3. An illustrative story. In Buddhist scriptures, there is a beautiful story about a monk who reminds us of the importance of letting go. A troubled man is like someone holding on to a burning log. If he doesn't let go, he will get burned. The lesson here is that only by letting go can our minds return to a state of peace. 4. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. Many people fear letting go because they associate it with giving up. However, in Buddhist teachings, letting go simply means creating space for the mind to relax. When we let go, we don't lose; instead, we gain freedom. 5. How to let go. Start by practicing mindfulness and focusing on the present moment. When our minds become calm, we can discern what no longer serves us and what we need to release. Ask yourself, am I burdened by things that aren't real or essential? Let's get started. Part 1. The nature of holding on. In life, we often cling to the things we consider most important: money, love, appearances, or even outdated thoughts that we refuse to let go of. However, under the light of the Buddha's wisdom, holding on is the root cause of suffering, and liberation comes only when we understand the true nature of all things: impermanence. Impermanence, the unavoidable law. The Buddha taught that everything in life is impermanent, anicca. This means that all things, big or small, material or mental, are subject to the cycle of arising, existing, and passing away. You can observe this clearly in nature. A flower blooms and then wilts. A child is born, grows, matures, and eventually ages. Even majestic mountains are slowly eroded over time. So why do we insist on holding tightly to things that can never be ours forever? Holding on, at its core, is an act of resisting this natural law. When we cling to money, we fear losing it. When we hold on to love, we worry that our loved ones might leave us. When we grasp onto old thoughts, we close ourselves off to new learning. This resistance to impermanence is what creates ongoing anxiety and suffering. The roots of clinging: craving and ego. In Buddhist teachings, craving, tanha, and ego, sakkayaditthi, are the two main causes of clinging. Craving is the desire to possess and protect what brings us a sense of security or happiness. Ego is the attachment to the self and everything associated with it. For example, when we own an expensive phone, we don't just see it as a tool, we attach it to our identity. We fear it getting damaged, lost, or outdated. This anxiety stems from equating our self-worth with something external. Similarly, when we love someone, we often want them to belong exclusively to us. But the truth is, every person has their own freedom and life. When we fail to accept this, we set ourselves up for suffering due to jealousy or loss. The consequences of clinging. When we cling, we trap ourselves in a cycle of suffering. Clinging to money keeps us constantly worried about how to maintain or acquire more. Clinging to love makes us fear abandonment. Even clinging to rigid viewpoints or outdated beliefs can make us stubborn and closed-minded, preventing growth and learning. This attachment not only drains our energy but also prevents our minds from ever truly resting. We live in a constant state of tension. Like someone trying to hold on to sand in their hand, the tighter they grip, the more it slips away. How to let go? The Buddha not only pointed out the problem but also provided clear solutions. The first step is to recognize the nature of clinging and its consequences. Understanding that everything is impermanent helps us reduce our attachment to external things. The next step is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to live fully in the present moment, free from the burdens of the past or anxieties about the future. When the mind is calm, we can see that clinging is merely a habit created by the mind, and habits can be changed. Finally, learn to give. Giving is not just about charity, it's a way to liberate ourselves from attachment. When we willingly share, we realize that happiness doesn't come from possession but from inner freedom. Lessons from nature. Look at a flowing river. Water moves through every curve and obstacle without trying to hold on to anything. The river never stands still, yet it always exists, flowing forward endlessly. We, too, should live like the river. Not clinging but following the natural flow of life and allowing things to come and go freely. The nature of holding on is resistance to the law of impermanence. When we cling, we create our own suffering. The Buddha taught that letting go is not about losing but about gaining freedom and peace. Remember, life is a journey. And only by letting go can we walk lightly on the path to true happiness. Part 2. The psychology of holding on. Holding on is a common psychological state in which we try to protect, maintain, or possess something we deem valuable. This can include material possessions, relationships, or even personal beliefs and ideas. However, this attachment often leads to anxiety, worry, and suffering. As the Buddha taught, the root of suffering is craving and clinging. So how does the psychology of holding on work, and why does it take us further from inner peace? The root causes of holding on. The tendency to hold on stems from two significant psychological aspects, craving and fear. Craving, tanha. This is the desire to acquire or retain things that provide a sense of security, happiness, or value. When we obtain what we desire, we feel momentarily satisfied, but this feeling is temporary. Soon, craving resurfaces, driving us to seek more, creating an endless cycle. Fear, along with holding on comes the fear of losing what we have. This fear infiltrates our thoughts, making us live in constant worry and doubt. For instance, someone who owns a beautiful house may take joy in its value but simultaneously fear losing it due to factors like economic downturns, natural disasters, or theft. This fear and attachment overshadow the joy of ownership, leading to constant anxiety. The impact of holding on. When we cling to things, our minds become unbalanced. Here are the ways holding on negatively affects our mental state. 1. Increased anxiety. Holding on generates a fear of loss. Thoughts like, what if I lose this, or how can I keep this forever, dominate our minds, making it difficult to find peace. 2. Mental unrest. Focusing on preserving what we have disrupts our ability to think clearly, reducing effectiveness in daily life. 3. Disconnection from the present. Clinging forces us to dwell in the past, lamenting what we've lost, or to worry about the future. This keeps us from experiencing the beauty of the present moment. 4. Inner conflict. Holding on creates tension between our desire to control everything and the reality of our limited control, leading to feelings of frustration and helplessness. The Buddha's teachings on holding on. In the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha identified the root of suffering, dukkha, as craving, samadaya. He emphasized that our suffering does not arise from external things but from our attachment to them. Everything in life is impermanent, anicca, meaning all things are subject to change. Understanding the impermanent nature of life helps us reduce attachment. When we stop clinging, our minds become lighter and more peaceful. Why holding on causes suffering? 1. Resisting the natural flow of life. Holding on is an act of going against the impermanent nature of existence. When things inevitably change and we try to resist, suffering arises. 2. Creating unrealistic expectations. Attachment leads us to expect that what we cling to will always bring happiness. These expectations often go unmet, leaving us disappointed. 3. Dependence on external factors. We often seek happiness in external things like wealth, relationships, or recognition. Yet these factors cannot provide lasting happiness. The Buddha's guidance on letting go. Letting go does not mean abandoning everything. Rather, it is freeing the mind from attachments and clinging. The Buddha offered these practical steps. 1. Observe your emotions. When feelings of unease arise, pause and observe them without reacting. This awareness allows you to see that emotions are temporary and do not need to control you. 2. Practice mindfulness. Study focus on the present moment. Mindfulness helps you recognize that true happiness comes not from clinging but from a liberated mind. 3. Find joy in giving. Sharing what you have with no expectation of return reduces attachment to material things and emotions. A story to illustrate. There is a story about a man trapped in a raging river. He clings to a branch, believing it is his only hope for survival. But the force of the water exhausts him. A monk passing by calls out, "Let go of the branch and let the river carry you to the shore." At first, the man resists out of fear, but as he grows weary, he releases his grip. The current immediately carries him to safety. This story illustrates that holding on often causes more suffering. Only by letting go can we find liberation and peace. The psychology of holding on not only harms our minds but also distances us from inner peace. The Buddha's teachings remind us that by understanding the impermanent nature of life and practicing letting go, we can free ourselves from the cycle of anxiety and suffering. Remember, peace does not lie in what you hold on to but in the freedom of your mind. Part 3. The illustration, a burning stick. In Buddhist teachings, there is a compelling story that vividly portrays the dangers of holding on and the transformative power of letting go. The story involves a monk who, through simple yet profound wisdom, teaches that clinging to harmful things is like holding on to a burning stick. The mind that clings is like a person holding a burning stick. If they do not let go, they will be burned. This metaphor reveals an essential truth: by releasing what harms us, we can return our minds to a state of peace and balance. The burning stick, a lesson in clinging. Imagine a person gripping a burning stick. The fire starts to scorch their hand, causing immense pain. Yet, out of fear or stubbornness, they refuse to let go. They think, if I let go, what will happen to me? What if I lose control or face something worse? Meanwhile, the fire continues to burn their hand, inflicting more harm. This simple but powerful analogy describes how clinging, whether to material possessions, relationships, or destructive thoughts, creates unnecessary suffering. By letting go, the person avoids further pain and allows the healing process to begin. The psychology behind holding on to the burning stick. Why do we cling to things even when they cause harm? From a psychological perspective, several reasons contribute to this behavior. 1. Fear of the unknown. Many people fear letting go because they are unsure of what lies ahead. The known, even if painful, feels safer than the uncertainty of change. 2. Attachment to identity. We often identify ourselves with what we hold on to, a job, a relationship, or even a negative belief. Letting go can feel like losing a part of ourselves. 3. Illusion of control. Clinging gives us the illusion that we can control outcomes. However, the truth is that control is often an illusion, and life is inherently unpredictable. Buddhist wisdom on letting go. The Buddha emphasized that clinging, upadana, is a primary source of suffering, dukkha. In the Four Noble Truths, he taught that suffering arises from craving and attachment. When we cling to impermanent things, we resist the natural flow of life, leading to dissatisfaction and pain. Letting go leads to liberation. By releasing attachments, we free ourselves from the chains of suffering and open the door to inner peace. Practical steps to let go. 1. Recognize the pain. Just as the person holding the burning stick feels the pain in their hand, we must acknowledge the suffering caused by our attachments. This awareness is the first step toward change. 2. Understand impermanence. Everything in life is transient. Relationships change, possessions deteriorate, and even our thoughts evolve. Accepting this truth helps us release our grip on what we cannot control. 3. Cultivate mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice helps us detach from harmful patterns and focus on the present moment. 4. Develop compassion for yourself. Letting go can be challenging. Be kind to yourself during this process, understanding that it is part of the journey toward growth and freedom. A deeper dive into the burning stick metaphor. The burning stick represents anything we cling to that causes harm. Whether it's resentment, fear, or material attachment. Let's explore some common, burning sticks in daily life. Resentment and grudges. Holding on to anger or resentment toward others is like carrying a burning stick in your heart. It consumes your energy and peace while having little to no effect on the person you resent. Letting go allows you to reclaim your tranquility. Unrealistic expectations. Clinging to expectations, whether of yourself, others, or life, sets you up for disappointment. By letting go of rigid expectations, you open yourself to the beauty of life's surprises. Possessions and wealth. While material things can bring comfort, excessive attachment to them creates fear of loss and dissatisfaction. Understanding that true contentment comes from within can help us let go of this dependency. A story within a story. Another Buddhist story that complements the burning stick metaphor involves two monks crossing a river. They encounter a woman who needs help crossing. One monk hesitates, remembering their vow not to touch women, but the other monk lifts her onto his shoulders, carries her across, and sets her down. Hours later, the first monk scolds the other. "How could you carry that woman? You broke your vow." The second monk replies, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story highlights the mental burden we carry when we refuse to let go of unnecessary thoughts and judgments. Practical application. Letting go in modern life. The concept of the burning stick isn't confined to ancient teachings, it's highly relevant to modern life. In relationships, many people hold on to toxic relationships out of fear of loneliness or change. Letting go allows space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. In careers, clinging to a job that no longer aligns with your values can drain your energy and creativity. Releasing it might lead to new opportunities and growth. In everyday stress, holding on to worries about the future or regrets about the past robs us of the present moment. Mindfulness and gratitude practices can help us let go of this mental clutter. The reward of letting go. When we finally release the burning stick, we experience a profound sense of relief and freedom. This act of letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means creating space for new possibilities, peace, and growth. As the Buddha taught, you only lose what you cling to. The story of the burning stick serves as a powerful reminder that clinging to harmful attachments only leads to more suffering. By recognizing our burning sticks and practicing the art of letting go, we can free ourselves from unnecessary pain and find the inner peace we seek. Letting go is not about losing, it's about gaining clarity, balance, and freedom. In the end, the act of releasing is a gift we give ourselves, allowing our minds to return to a state of harmony and tranquility. Part 4. Letting go does not mean giving up. One of the most common misconceptions about the practice of letting go is equating it with giving up. Many people fear that by letting go, they are abandoning their goals, relationships, or even themselves. However, in the teachings of the Buddha, letting go, Visagga, is not about loss but about liberation. It is a practice of creating space in the mind for clarity, peace, and wisdom to flourish. When we let go, we are not giving up on life, we are freeing ourselves to live it more fully. The misunderstanding, letting go versus giving up. The fear of letting go often stems from the perception that it involves failure or rejection. In relationships, letting go might feel like giving up on love or loyalty. In aspirations, it may seem like abandoning ambition or effort. In personal identity, it can feel like losing a sense of self or purpose. But the truth is, letting go is not about detachment from action or responsibility. Instead, it is about releasing unhealthy attachments and expectations that cloud our judgment and weigh us down. The Buddhist perspective on letting go. The Buddha taught that clinging, upadana, is the root cause of suffering, dukkha. Clinging arises when we attach ourselves to impermanent things, expecting them to bring permanent happiness. Letting go is the antidote to this suffering. It does not mean abandoning effort or responsibility but instead approaching life with an open heart and mind. Effort without attachment. Letting go allows us to act with dedication but without being overly fixated on outcomes. For example, a farmer can plant seeds with care, but they cannot control the rain or the sun. Detachment from expectations. By releasing rigid expectations, we free ourselves from disappointment and embrace the natural flow of life. Why letting go feels difficult? Letting go can feel challenging because of deeply ingrained psychological and cultural conditioning. 1. Fear of loss. We fear that letting go means losing control, security, or identity. 2. Ego attachment. The ego resists letting go because it thrives on attachments to possessions, achievements, and relationships. 3. Misunderstanding freedom. Many of us mistake freedom for indulgence or detachment for apathy. In reality, true freedom comes from within, not from external circumstances. What letting go truly means. 1. Creating space. When we let go of unnecessary mental burdens, we create space for mindfulness, compassion, and joy to arise. 2. Freeing the mind. Letting go liberates us from the constant chatter of, I must have this, or I must avoid that, enabling us to experience life fully. 3. Accepting change. By embracing impermanence, anicca, we learn to flow with life's changes rather than resist them. A practical illustration. Imagine holding a clenched fist. The more tightly you grip, the more tension builds in your hand. Now, imagine opening your fist and allowing it to relax. The tension dissipates, and your hand feels free. Letting go works in a similar way. When we cling to things, be it anger, fear, or possessions, we create unnecessary tension in our minds. Releasing the grip allows us to find peace and clarity. The rewards of letting go. Letting go brings numerous benefits, both spiritual and practical. 1. Inner peace. By releasing attachments, we reduce anxiety and mental unrest. 2. Clarity of purpose. Letting go of distractions enables us to focus on what truly matters. 3. Stronger relationships. When we stop clinging to people, we create healthier, more authentic connections based on mutual respect and freedom. 4. Resilience. Letting go of rigid expectations helps us adapt to life's inevitable changes with grace and strength. Buddhist teachings to guide letting go. The Buddha often used analogies to illustrate the nature of letting go. The raft. The Buddha likened his teachings to a raft used to cross a river. Once you reach the other side, you no longer need to carry the raft. Holding on to it would be unnecessary and burdensome. This teaches us that even beneficial things, once their purpose is fulfilled, should be released. The lotus. The lotus flower grows in muddy water yet rises above it, unsoiled. This symbolizes the ability to let go of life's impurities and attachments, allowing one's true nature to blossom. How to practice letting go. 1. Practice mindfulness. Observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Recognize when clinging arises and gently redirect your focus. 2. Reflect on impermanence. Remind yourself that everything in life is temporary. This awareness helps reduce attachment. 3. Cultivate gratitude. Focus on the present moment and appreciate what you have without the need to possess or control it. 4. Engage in generosity, giving freely, without expecting anything in return. Teaches us the joy of releasing attachments. 5. Seek support. Surround yourself with people or teachings that encourage growth and detachment. A story of letting go. A Zen master once told a student, "To let go does not mean to abandon the world. It means to carry it lightly." The student, puzzled, asked for clarification. The master handed him a cup of water and instructed him to hold it with both hands. Then, he began pouring more water into the cup until it overflowed and spilled onto the student's hands. "Let go," the master said. The student hesitated, fearing the cup would break. Finally, he released the cup, and the water stopped spilling. "Now," the master explained, "you understand. When you cling too tightly, you suffer. Letting go is not losing, it is freeing yourself to handle life wisely. Living with balance. Letting go does not mean abandoning your goals or relationships. It means approaching them with a light heart and an open mind. In relationships, letting go means loving without possessing, supporting without controlling, and allowing others the freedom to grow. In goals, letting go means striving for success without becoming consumed by it. Letting go is a profound act of freedom. It does not mean giving up, it means gaining clarity, balance, and peace. By releasing our attachments and fears, we create space for joy, wisdom, and authentic living. As the Buddha taught, you can only lose what you cling to. Let go, not to lose, but to truly gain the freedom and peace that come from living lightly. Part 5. How to let go. In daily life, all of us sometimes feel burdened, tied down by things that don't truly bring happiness. These attachments might be painful memories, unmet expectations, or even unnecessary ambitions. In Buddhist teachings, letting go is not just a way to seek peace but also a path to enlightenment. Meditation. The first step to letting go. Meditation is a fundamental practice in Buddhism that helps us calm the mind and return to ourselves. When we sit down and focus on our breath, we are performing a simple yet profound act, living in the present moment. The breath serves as a bridge between the mind and the body, and by concentrating on it, we gradually eliminate unnecessary thoughts. Try sitting quietly for a few minutes each day and focus on your breathing. At first, your mind may be drawn to wandering thoughts. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. Over time, you'll notice your mind becoming more tranquil. In this stillness, you'll start to see more clearly the things that are binding you. Identifying unnecessary burdens. Once your mind is calm, the next step is to observe the thoughts and emotions that arise. Ask yourself, are these things truly important? Are they merely illusions I've created? Buddhism teaches that much of our suffering comes from clinging to impermanent things. For example, you might be preoccupied with a relationship that has ended. But if you look deeply into reality, you'll realize that everything in life changes. That person, those emotions. And even you are not the same as before. Accepting impermanence is not surrendering, it is liberating. It allows you to let go of what no longer serves you and move forward on a new path. Questions to awaken wisdom. One way to let go is to ask yourself profound questions. In Buddhist scriptures, there are many questions designed to awaken wisdom, helping us see the true nature of our problems. For example, does this truly exist, or is it just a product of my mind? Am I clinging to this because it brings real happiness or just the illusion of comfort? If I let this go, will I lose anything? Or will letting go be the way to freedom? These questions are not meant to judge but to help you discover the truth for yourself. By answering them honestly, you'll find it easier to let go. The difference between letting go and giving up. Letting go does not mean giving up everything. It's not about avoiding life or shirking responsibilities. On the contrary, letting go is a way to live more fully when you're not bound by unnecessary attachments. Buddhism calls this living with equanimity, upekkha, a balanced state of mind that remains undisturbed by joy, sorrow, success, or failure. Imagine holding a pebble in your hand. The tighter you grip it, the more your hand hurts. But when you open your hand, the pebble no longer causes discomfort. That pebble could be pain, expectations, or anything you're clinging to. When you let go, you don't lose the pebble, you simply free yourself from the pain you've created. Practicing compassion. Another crucial aspect of letting go is practicing compassion, both for yourself and others. Sometimes, we struggle to let go because of anger or blame. But when you view things with compassion, you'll see that everyone has their own suffering and limitations. Ask yourself, this person, like me, is also seeking happiness. So why should I hold anger against them? When you forgive, you not only release others but also free yourself. Letting go for freedom. Letting go is not an instant action but a process. It requires patience, courage, and deep understanding. But as you learn to let go, you'll realize that true freedom and peace come not from what you hold on to but from what you're willing to release. Start with the small things. Try meditating daily, observing your mind, and questioning the things you cling to. Over time, you'll feel lighter and more at ease. This is the greatest gift Buddhism offers us, peace in the present moment, unburdened by the past or the future. Conclusion. Dear friends, life is a journey. If we hold on too tightly, we become weary and lose sight of peace. Letting go is not about losing but about gaining freedom and clarity. When we release the weight of our attachments, we find ourselves lighter, more joyful, and closer to true happiness. Reflect on this. Peace and happiness do not come from accumulating but from letting go. Let go of what no longer serves you, and create space for what truly matters. Every step we take in letting go brings us closer to the essence of life, love, compassion, and wisdom. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence here is a gift. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help spread the beautiful values of Buddhist teachings. Together, let's create a world filled with peace and understanding. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.